Hello, I chose to read the article by Kirsten and Stewart. The purpose of this study was to identify how different types and different levels of relational responding vary across ages. Specifically, the study looked at coordination, comparison, opposition, temporal, and hierarchical frames, and different levels, including non-arbitrary and arbitrary relations. Additionally, the researchers examined analogical responding and relations and how they develop throughout childhood. The study of 24 neurotypical participants between the ages of 36 and 84 months. Researchers used the standard Binet intelligence scale to identify IQ and cognitive abilities. Additionally, researchers conducted relational assessments with 4 stages of non-arbitrary and arbitrary relations, including analogies to examine different patterns of relational responding. The key findings of this article show that there are predictable patterns in relational responding that increase by age. As children age, they generally improve in relational framing and analogical abilities. Researchers identified strong correlations, patterns between relational framing and responding, and intelligence depicted in the participants' IQ scores. Additionally, researchers identified that comparison and hierarchical frames are foundational for higher intellectual skills. Essentially, researchers further supported previous research that development of non-arbitrary relational responding correlates to more complex skills and frames like arbitrary and analogical relations. What I found interesting about this article is how early emerging relational responding begins to develop in early learners. I'm not around many neurotypical learners, so it was enlightening to read about how naturally these repertoires are just emerging. This helped me better understand how I can support my clients with language deficits and how I can teach my staff to better model more relational language and flexibility throughout their sessions. It's just very interesting how much of how we acquire relational skills is learned naturally through our environments and not in direct teaching. This article has helped me recognize the importance of relational framing and responding through modeling, especially for many of my clients who are nonverbal. Staff don't always understand how powerful and important modeling language can be and how it truly does influence language acquisition. I want to train my staff on embedding simple relational concepts through naturalistic, play-based therapy. I think it's essential for me, given my staff's barriers, how to teach them how to model language that targets relational responding and framing through incidental teaching. I found this article challenging and eye-opening because I'm still learning so much about language development in early learners, and it's truly a lot to take in. This article has pushed me to think more critically about my clients and how relational responding emerges and how I can identify skill gaps in my clients. This article has challenged me to reflect on how I can better support my staff in teaching them to be a better model. This article highlighted how language just doesn't naturally appear, rather it's learned through exposure to our social verbal community, among other variables. Thank you.